If you are new on the board, go back home and ask your past to give you this book and read it. I guarantee you it will make a difference in your life as a leader. I'm sorry that we couldn't get the concept to work a little bit. Simon is an expert on behavior, and he's written a series of books on leadership. This is one of the best ones I've ever had, because it's talking about the why we do what we do, how we do what we do, and what we do. 99% of the businesses in America go what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. As a volunteer organization, we have to do the exact opposite. We have to start from the inside. We have to convince people why we're doing what we're doing. Then we have to tell them how we're going to do it. And then we're going to have to tell them what we do. So I'm asking you to consider working from the inside out in this golden circle. All right? Because if you sell the lie, you have complete selling on the lie, you're finished. The rest of it is technical. So just getting that why is so very important. Why is it so important? How does somebody think? Why is it so important to think?
You're giving intent rather than giving an order.
You're giving intent.
It's the reason why we're here.
The reason why we're here. Whatever. As a volunteer, you have to capture the heart of the member before you can capture their mind. Simple as that. You have to capture their heart and make them want to be part of what you're selling. And make no mistake about it. As a leader, you're out there selling. Every time you leave home and you're doing something for the organization, you're selling yourself.
Steve, quick question. Give feedback. You've got a mic clipped on and you're using hand mic. Are they both working?
That's for the screen.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Otherwise, they just see me doing nothing. That's the hardest guy in the world today, because he's got to follow me as I walk back and forth across this room. Because I'm like, as I told Gus yesterday, I'm worse than an Italian pastor, because I walk around and I swing my arms. So you guys be careful. I may get you to this microphone before it's all over with. If we capture the heart, if they believe what you're selling, everybody wants to jump on the team. Simple as that. So if you sit down and you look at it, working from the inside out, you've got their heart, then you come up, you give them the plan of the day, how we're going to accomplish it. And the what just follows. It just follows along just as naturally as it can possibly be. So here's a little exercise. I want some suggestions on why the auxiliary. What is our why for the auxiliary? Service. Okay, simple. Voting safety. Anything else? Fun. Maybe I got too serious. Let me show you what I came up with. All right. Due to the inherent dangers of the marine environment, the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary stands ready to assist America's boating public. Is that not why we exist? Our words, I don't have to use these words, words to this effect. Why are we out there? What's the key words in that why that's going to grab somebody's attention? Inherent danger. Boom, it's right out there, it stabs you right out there, okay? Nobody goes on the water expecting problems, do they? Otherwise, we never go out. But we know they do occur. I think the next set of words, what's the next set of words that stand out?
Ready to assist.
I'm going back one further.
Stands ready.
We stand ready as an organization, don't we? That's why that's our why. That's what you're selling every time you go out. You're selling the Commodore, National Commodores. He's selling yours. He's selling yours. You're selling.
Let me do a little more understanding, because that word assist is more important. I mean, if you're not ready, you can't assist, but at the same time, assistance is what we give to the voting public.
All right, give me a minute, then we'll see what you think. All right, so that's what I came up with the why. Okay, so how do we do? How do we do what we do?
Train and learn how to do it.
Train and learn how to do it. Education,
That's a safety check.
does some safety checks.
And the willingness to do it.
We do it. How we do it is by being the best trained volunteer force, equipped and prepared to handle emergencies when they occur. Is that statement okay? Thank you. Now, talking about that, we're talking about how do we protect the American voting public? We protect the American voting public by being the best trained volunteer, equipped by the Coast Guard, prepared through training to assist in emergencies when they occur. So then, what follows? What is the what? What do we do? Now we talk about vessel exams. We talk about our programs, correct? All right. With patrol, education, and assistance to the Coast Guard, United States Guard, and protecting the ports, waters, and sea lanes of America. That's just what I came up with. All right. So you put it all together, and guess what you got? You got a vision statement, don't you? Yep. Due to the inherent dangers of the marine environment, the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary stands ready to assist the American voting public by being the best trained volunteer force equipped and prepared to handle emergencies when they occur with patrols, education, assistance to the Coast Guard, and protecting the ports, waterways, and sea lanes of America.
Steve, why are we missing prevention? If you prevent it before it happens, it shouldn't happen. That's why we have public education.
What is that word right there?
Yes, I see it.
By education. Not just one piece of education, every piece of education we do. Huh?
Isn't that the safety checks actually education?
It all is. If you spend the time doing it correctly, that's probably our second best education opportunity.
Everything you're alluding to is everything that's being done on the water. What about the folks in the air that are, in essence, supporting the Coast Guard, doing harbor and all of that? Now, are you assuming this is a totally all-inclusive statement? The boat surface and air?
It includes everything.
Most of our flights are for what purpose? Assisting the Coast Guard. It's a general statement. I could put it all in there, but then I got to have 2 pages. And you usually lose people about the second or third paragraph. So keep it. What is the kiss? Keep it simple, still. Why does it need to be with you just a minute, sure? Why does it need to be simple? People have got to understand it. For people to understand it, it has to be clear. It has to be articulated. And it has to be concise. Why does it need to be concise? Because every time you go out, that statement, or your statement, not my statement, your statement, should be your opening comments. Because you've got to go back all the time. You've got to keep the why in front of people at all times. So when you're talking, it doesn't matter if you're talking at the flotilla, if you're talking at the division level, or whatever level you're talking to, you want to project your vision every single time. Every time. Sherry, you have a question?
No, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to tell everyone who took my grant writing class yesterday, this is an awesome impact statement for grant writing. That's my statement.
It is.
It is. So, for those who write grants, this is it. Remember, we're looking for grant writers in every flotilla.
Great. Turn it on.
Steve, I don't see prevention in that, Steve.
Yep.
Education.
But you have to say prevention because that says handle emergencies when they occur. We don't want them to occur.
Our education is for that purpose. Isn't that why we have the voting safety classes? To educate members of the voting public on safety?
We have special exam programs to send them.
This is very helpful and instructive. Speaking of ethos, I think that it would be immeasurably helpful. This is very helpful.
This is very helpful, Commodore, and instructive. Thank you. I believe very deeply in ethos in all things, and I believe for our organization it would be inherently helpful if we explored the ethos and the why, the underpinnings as to what motivates individuals to join the auxiliary. Does the individual ethos correlate to the ethos of the auxiliary? What motivates us to belong? Is it helping our fellow person? Is it because we wish to wear a uniform? Is it for otherwise good and noble reasons? But if we, as an organization, were to focus on the very individual to make sure they correlate into what our ethos is as a collective whole, I suspect that that would be an optimizing factor for our operations, both on the water and administratively.
And that is leading to the rest of the presentation. I am so sorry that I could not get this video to work because it is so powerful. Go on YouTube. Just type his name in. Simon Sinek. S-I-N-E-K. He has 4 or 5 presentations on the internet that are just absolutely super. Every one of his books will assist you, but nothing like this one. I think the Why, Start With Why, is possibly one of the best books I've ever read. So, you now have the why. Or the best. I'm going to try something here. Is that working? Yeah. All right. I can't hold that for an hour. We've got the why now. Now it's time. Every time you go out, you're going out as a cheerleader. Your job as a leader is a cheerleader. Thank the people for what they're doing. Give them a recap of what the current vision statement is. And any local, regional, or national views that you have to partner. Always start out, though, with that why. So there. I'm going to talk a little bit now on how you can speak to someone to try to inspire action. Because let's face it, like Captain Little said last night, in the Coast Guard, they have some authority. As a leader of the auxiliary, the only authority you got, one of them, that better? All right. As a member of the auxiliary, you have persuasion. You have no authority. You can't make a member do anything. You have to persuade them to come along, join your team.
Except for mandated training.
It's not mandatory.
Oh. I got him off. I think I turned him off. Well, you have to have, we do have regulations. We do have regulations we have to follow. We have responsibilities. But as a leader, if you cannot convince the member to do the work, you can have the best plan in America. You can have people want to buy that plan every day. You can have people that read that plan every day. If they don't go out and work it, it's absolutely useless. So that's your job. You've got to inspire people to want to come along. Now let me see if you agree with my premise on this. You're in a flotilla meeting. We can be in a division meeting. We can be right here this weekend. We have a tendency to talk to a group of people and ask a group of people who are doing absolutely nothing to come join us. And a lot of times, if you think about it, we go to a flotilla meeting, you start talking to people, why aren't you doing anything? I've seen it at national meetings, I've seen it at every meeting. We should be talking to that group who are willing to join us immediately. Small percentage of them are willing to join you immediately when they hear your program and your plan. That's who we have to be concentrated on. Then we go to the others. I'll give you a little graph. This is even worse than the video. This is a bell curve. It's called the law of diffusion for innovation. 16% of your members, flotilla, division, whatever, are going to buy into your plan immediately. They're going to want to be a part. They're ready to go. What do you call them? They're early joiners. They're also your support group in most cases. That little core of people that you have that you know you can count on every time that you go out and you need to do something. That's 16% of the membership. That's all it is. Very small percentage. All right? Then you have another percentage. That's about 22%, I believe it says. Right here, you can't read it. They hear the message. May take them a little while for it to sink in. That's a good way to put it. They don't buy you that night. It takes them, that's the digestives. They want to look at it, they want to feed it, they want to think about it, and then they're ready to join you. Right? That usually doesn't take very long. Very short period. So then all of a sudden you've got about 22% of your membership that's ready to go right off the bat. And then you've got the majorities are broken down into early majorities. They see that things are working well. And then all of a sudden they say, well, maybe I want to be on that team. But man, maybe that's going to work. I didn't want to stick my toe out there because I didn't want to expose myself to ridicule possibly. That's usually weeks to months. And so you pull them in. And then you have the late joiners that at the end of the year, they've seen all the success and now they're ready. They're ready to jump on the bandwagon because it's time for awards. It's time for ribbons. And then now all of a sudden it's their idea. You thank them for coming along. Because now you've got 60-some% of your business But these people right down here, that is about 18% of your members. And I don't care what you say to them. I don't care what proof you give them. They are not going to produce. That's your cardholders. That's the people that send you money every year that you haven't seen since 1998. Right? Or part of the organization because they help support you. But they're not going to help you on your plan. You have to stay with these people. Now let's talk about teams a minute. You get started. Does the flotilla commander have a team? What's his team called? Staff. District. Staff. Advisors. Doesn't necessarily have to be about a staff, but it's people that you have counted on before and they have produced for you. That's what you're looking at. These people have counted on, I have counted on them before and they've helped. That's colleagues. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. That's who you have to concentrate on. And you keep them happy. They keep producing. They will bring the others along. As a leader, you're not managing. You're supposed to be looking out there. Where am I going to be 2 years? 3 years? Where is my organization? Where's my flotilla, my division, my district, my organization? Where are we going to be in 5 years? That's the purpose of leadership. Not to be running the place. That's what your team does. So you want to sit down. And how you speak to them is important. If you're in a leadership role for personal glory, that's going to work for you for about 90 days. You know, if you're lucky. It takes them 90 days to get the nooses together. The posse's not always ready to go that fast. All right. If you come to the meeting with the right attitude, with the right perspective, you give them no choice. They really have no choice. They're going to buy in. Most of them are going to buy into what you have to say. So it's important that your attitude has to be, I'm not here for me, I'm here for you. What can I do? Get rid, if you're going to use the word I, that's the only time you would use the word I. Alex, what can I do to make your experience with the auxiliary better?
Give me something to do.
Then you throw that I away because from that point on it's we, us. It's never I or them, is it? People are willing to help you if you have that attitude. Just willing to sit down and say, hey, what can I do? What do you expect from me? And how we present our program, how we talk to our early people so that they have a clear understanding of what's going on, makes it all worthwhile. This is a great concept that a lot of people don't do. When you have an idea, when you're going to go speak to someone, start your preparation with your final sentence. What do I want people to walk away from this meeting understanding? Get that statement, and then from there, build back to the beginning. You may find that you can get that final statement on one page rather than a long piece of oratory. Just sit down but try it, just to sit down and see how they're going to go out, what you want them to know, what you want them to be inspired to do. That way you know that you've got that one idea that you wanted to push out is there and covered. What do I talk about on the room? do I talk, what do I mean when I say own the room?
Wearing orange shirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I don't care what you're trying to do. Every time I move, you're you're just seeing what this orange shirt's doing, right? It's your time. Who said to control the environment? Absolutely. It is your time in front of the room. They're there to listen to what you have to say. So make sure that you have it. When they realize you're there to give, they're going to get better. So they're going to listen to what you want to, what you're trying to impart on. There's different ways of owning the room. Have you ever noticed when the President of the United States has a briefing, he's not standing behind the podium as the press secretary introduces him, is he? Does anybody remember during the first Gulf War when General Schwarzkopf absolutely owned CNN? Absolutely owned them, lock, stock, and barrel, because his aide would introduce him, and that big son, SOB, came strolling in with all the confidence in the world. They were watching him back there. You have their attention back there, and they can't wait for him to get up to see what he's going to say. All right? So that's what I'm talking about by owning the room. You go to a meeting. Let's say, as this example, I'm going to say you're a division commander, and you're going to a meeting, and I'm going to use Ken here. Ken's at your meeting as national representative. All right? I would advise Ken not to sit in the front of the room. Sit in the back. All right? Watch the body language. See if the message is coming across from whoever's doing the talking, or the float commander, or whoever's doing it. All right? When it gets to be your turn, then guess what? You can walk up and you own the room. If you're sitting up front, they've been looking at you for up to 2 hours. And at that time, I can guarantee you, they are ready to go home. All right? So that's one way to own your room. Don't just jump up and start talking. Take a pause. Take a break a minute. Get your thoughts together. Fastest instrument in the world. Fastest instrument in the world. And before you can grab your tongue, something can come out that you really didn't mean to come out. So take that time. You take that walk. You got that confident walk. Get that swagger in there, man. Go and pause before you talk. And if you've had any of my classes, you know you got to walk the room. You cannot be behind a podium in a small meeting. Another person. District meetings, that's a business meeting. You would be there. All right? If you're at something other than a business meeting, get down on the floor. If you're standing behind the desk, standing behind a table, what have you got there? You got a barrier between you and the member, don't you? Get out from behind there. Walk, move. Eye contact. Talk to one person at a time. Keep it moving around the room. I have seen leaders that have sat there And I often wondered who they were talking to, because they're looking at that back wall. And everybody's turned around to see who he's looking at. Uh-huh. Yeah. Eye contact. It's personal. It's personal stuff.
You know, I'd like to think, Steve, is you engage the brain before you engage the mouth.
Absolutely. If you don't have passion, be quiet. You have to have the passion in your voice when you're talking, your plan, talking to the team members. You have got to make them understand that this is extremely important to you, that you enjoy working that plan. You want them to enjoy the benefits of working that plan with you. And so you've got to have some passion. You've got to stick to the things that you understand. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a leader saying, I do not know. No leader is expected to know it all. I will find you an answer and get back with you. It's two parts. I will find your answer. I will get, oops, sorry about that. I will get back to you. You have got to make sure that you get back. If you have to write it down on a piece of paper, stick it in your wallet, stick it in your shirt, whatever, please don't forget to get back. Because the minute you forget, you can scratch that one off the team. Right? As my mentor says, Gene Cyber says, I'm the only person in North Carolina who knows they won't talk slow. Sometimes I get a little anxious and I go too fast. Nothing wrong with talking slow. Shows you're under control. It says it shows wisdom. I try. Sometimes it works. It is a good idea, if you want to know what people are hearing, record yourself one time. The shock may almost kill you. I have been told that I have an accent. Down here I don't. I'm going to Mystic, Connecticut next month, and I'm taking an interpreter with me. Because they just look at me like, I have absolutely no idea what you just said. Keep your sentences short. Do not run out of breath. Take the time to make sure that your breathing is even. Because what happens once you run out of breath? It's hard to get back in. All of a sudden, your mind's going blank. Because, so take it, keep them short. If you learn nothing else today, make everybody in that room think you're just talking to them. I don't care if there's 100 people in the room or if there's 10 people, make everybody in the room think you're talking to them. Look at least once and make eye contact throughout the room. Do not pick on just the one person and look at them like you're talking to them. Keep everybody involved in it. Eye contact is extremely important. Be the exact person on stage that you are in real life. Or what is it? I am what I am. Do, right? Be yourself. Because the minute that you're not, they recognize it immediately. I'm a senior citizen. I have to concentrate every minute on remembering what I want to say. And I dare venture there may be one or two of you out there that does the same thing. I'll be talking along and I'm just going, man, I ain't going a mile a minute, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. I don't know where I am, I don't remember what I was talking about or anything. When that happens, and it will happen, just stop. Just stop what you're doing. Take that second. Never go anywhere without a glass of water. Oh yeah, I remember. I remember. All right. What if you don't? What if you don't remember? Barbara, I am absolutely totally lost. Could you help me out and tell me?
Just give me that mic.
What was I talking about? Just, somebody help me out. I've had a senior moment. Get yourself back on track. If you start, Mary, you've lost it. All right, so what's the odds? Just go quiet. Just go quiet. The good thing you can do is says, anybody got any questions? Just take a minute. Anybody got any questions? And run that line. Because it'll come back to you. Huh? Exactly, that does so. Yeah. It doesn't happen that often, all right? Because I try to keep it short. That's why, here's another. Who am I? Here's a tip from a younger Steve. You don't go anywhere without a notebook. Write down what you want to say. I don't mean you have to say it. Put your bullet points. Nothing worse than just sitting up in front of a bunch of people and start rambling. On and on and on and on. So have some idea. See, I have my script here. I haven't followed it one bit, but I have. If I got lost, I could go flip it back. So it helps it a little bit. Like I said, take a drink of water. If you lost pump, just ask them. Somebody can tell you. The most important thing is you have got to enjoy the ride. Because if you don't, you're going to go absolutely insane. If you don't believe what you're saying out there, then there's no need to even be out there, is it? Really? Be grateful for the opportunity to share your ideas. Never pass up. If anybody says, do you have anything to say? No. Then why don't you show up? Right? But that's your oath. We all get nervous. You just have to relax. You're amongst friends. We all have a common goal. Everybody in here is different, but we all have a common goal. So that makes it automatically that you're among friends. So just relax. Have you ever been applauded? Accepted. What is applause?
Affirmation.
What? Affirmation that your message has been received, understood. It's a sign of appreciation, sign of respect. So don't just, oh, gee, I'm so embarrassed. Accept it. The volume tells you volumes. That message may not have gone too deep. Thank you for being finished. Meeting adjourned. All right. So, but listen, you got to listen to those things. Accept it, recognize it, say thank you for it. Thanks for understanding my message. And like you said, ideas is what inspires action. So that's why when we teach the leadership courses, we're telling everybody, have yourself a plan. Know what you want to accomplish. Have it written down. Give it to each one of your members that are on your team so that they have a clear understanding of working on it. And once again, you'll just keep this in mind. As an auxiliarist, you must win the heart before you try to win the mind. It's a little different. You know, in business, what wins the mind in the business world? Right?
Money.
Raises, right? Business absolutely believes that if you have the mind, if you win the mind with money, you can win the heart. I don't believe that. Never have believed that. Right? I'm talking as a volunteer, having no authority at all, winning the minds of your people is the only way that you get anything done. Only way that you can get anything done. And with that, we are concluded. Say what? Oh, anybody? Yes.
Steve, I find titles a barrier. This person is flotilla commander. That person is not necessarily a subject matter expert on everything. Myself, when I was in the FC, I would like to defer some questions to my ops boss, to my MA, my PA, whatever, because they are closer to the masses and we're looking at it this way. We are all equal, I understand that. But the perception of titles, the perception of hierarchy, I think sometimes creates an artificial barrier. I appreciate the fact you have spent a lot of years in the auxiliary. You have held some very high-ranking positions in our organization. But when I hear your name, I don't think of Commodore Steve. I think of Steve, the leadership management instructor. I've sat through many of your seminars. And to me, that's more important to think of a person like you in that way rather than flotilla commander, division commander, even DCO. Because when you keep it to the masses, the average member, I think it creates a more inclusive environment.
I understand a little bit of what you're saying. When you do not have a leader, a recognizable leader, out front, all you got is a gang. All right? That's why I teach the course that leadership takes courage. It's not an easy job. It's not designed for everybody. We give them titles. We have some titles in this organization that I thought were bad decisions since I've been in the 19th, since the early 90s. I hate the word division. I think immediately the word division does exactly what it is. All right? I'll give you a little story. I came in here one day at a district conference. I stood back there as Division 9 commander. I got up and I introduced myself as Team Leader 9. If anybody in here remembers Commodore Gene Seibert, we went about 4.5 feet straight up in the air. absolutely straight up in the air. And when the meeting was finished, he gave me that famous, come here. And I walked up and I told him then, he said, what was that? I said, I hate the word division. I hate the word division. It should be changed. I don't care what we change it to. It doesn't have to be changed to team. It needs to be changed. So he said, well, you need to send a recommendation, which I did. It got, I'd like to think it got all the way up to the top. I don't know for a fact. But that's me personally, right? A leader has to have a name. He has to be recognized as that leader. You know, and we picked flotilla commander, division commander, district commodore, national commodore. It's to recognize them, I think, more than anything, as being that person who's willing to step out. A leader, when a leader is out here, it's very seldom. You can look left and right. This team is going to be at least a step behind it. If you are able to look to the left and you're able to look to the right and you see your team, you give yourself a little shout because you've really done your job then. And that's the way it should be. Right? But, you know, names, we could change names. I don't know what we change them to. I'm having enough trouble with division commander. I've been captains for so long. I hope that answered it. You know, there is truly no answer to that question. And how you present yourself. I don't introduce myself as Commodore. I never have.
But it's out of respect.
It's a respect. Thank you.
But don't these terms,
Use the microphone. Yeah.
don't these terms and terminology really come out of the military? Because we're part of Team Coast Guard, we're trying to emulate what they would like to hear and see in us.
They did not want to call us ensigns. Right? They did not want to call us commanders, captains. Flat guarantee that they didn't want to call us admirals. I know that for a fact. All right? So, when we were organized, they gave us Commodore. Does anybody know what the word Commodore means? Huh? If I'm not mistaken, and you can help me, man, that's a temporary fleet commander. It's not meant to go forever. Admiral, once an admiral, always an admiral. A Commodore would be called to do an action. Right? In the old days, in the sailing days, on the land and all of that. Right? A Commodore would have 6 vessels under his command for one purpose. He would go out. If he was successful, then when one of the admirals died, they might send him forward. But it's temporary. Like, I mean, our positions are temporary. And so we're the only ones. The Navy used to still have Commodores, but I think they stopped Commodores sometime in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. They would pick people.
They currently have Commodore.
They do.
The Navy still does?
In specific areas, generally dealing with security.
All right. I don't know that much about the Navy other than
They command.
the good ones on top of the water, bad ones under the water.
They normally command, as you said earlier, about 5 to 6 ships.
Temporary, yeah. Any other questions? Going once. Going twice.
Yes.
Yes, it will be on the website. I encourage you to go down and just watch the video. It's powerful. The man is so powerful speaking, it's just unbelievable. And he has several of them. We're incorporating some of these into the senior leadership at the national level. And so you're getting to see it almost before anybody else, okay? I showed this to them a couple weeks ago at intern. I appreciate your attention. Thanks a lot.